Today we will be starting up with our AWS Route 53. AWS Route 53. Today we are discussing about AWS Route 53. Okay. Before going for a Route 53, just I want to understand who all knows about a DNS. Who all knows about DNS? No one. IP to host and vice versa. DNS is basically used for address resolution. Just a little bit. I don't know. Okay, fine. It's good. Yes, DNS, it's nothing but domain naming services. It's called as resolution of your resolving your IP to host and host to IP. So what do you mean by host and what do you mean by IP? Like yesterday we are in a previous topic we are discussed about an IP addressing. So I said that each and every website which is hosted on your internet is associated with one of the IP addresses. So that IP addresses is nothing but your internet protocol address. So that addresses is named with this IP address. These IP addresses are nothing but these IP addresses are joined with our DNS name. For example, let me take one of the example. You can see your mobiles. Okay, in your mobile, you have n number of numbers. So remembering of n number of numbers is very much difficult. So what you will be doing? So you are assigning a name instead of number. So whenever you try to communicate with a person, whenever you want to call a particular person, you are not dialing a number, you are dialing a name. So once you dial a name, once you select a name and select a call, automatically the call will be connected based upon the number, not on the name. Why? Because name is your identity which you are keeping it. So it is unique from one mobile to another mobile. For the same number I can use some different name and you are using some different name. So whatever it may be the name, so name is nothing but name is binding with your number. It's nothing but your IP address. So here your IP address, yeah, your IP addresses. Yeah, sorry. So it's nothing but DNS. It's nothing but it's a resolving your name to IP and IP to name. So similar way, if you remember the name, just you will take your phone and you will dial the number. Then automatically it will be get connected to particular person. So it will be search in your directory and it will display the name on your mobile screen. So it's nothing but you can resolve from name to number, sorry, name to number and number to name. So that's why it's called as, in our computer language we will be calling as DNS. It's domain naming services which resolves your IP addresses with name as well as IP with a name. So we used to have two zones whenever we are creating an DNS server. We have a two zones. One is called as forward lookup zone and another is called as reverse lookup zone. So forward lookup zone will contain the name first, then the IP address, then reverse lookup zone contains IP address and the name. So let's like so DNS, yeah. Just a minute. Just a minute. Yes, yes. I will be sharing my screen. Just a minute. So, is my voice is clear now? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Nasir. Okay. So today we will be discussing about a DNS. The first thing of DNS is nothing but DNS and DNS workflow. How the DNS is designed and how the DNS will start the communication. So what exactly a DNS? DNS is a phone book of your internet. So you can talk, you can take as a, for example, I can take as a phone book of internet where it mentions your host name and as well as your IP addresses. So whenever you try to resolve a particular host name, it resolves to your IP addresses. So DNS ensure that whenever a user trying to access, for example, when I want to try to access called as www dot Google, or let me take any other site, Microsoft.com. Okay. Here, computer don't know what is Microsoft, but it's getting resolved to my a web page. So this Microsoft.com will have a unique number. So what is a number? That is an IP address number. You can open the command prompt. Here you can say ping www.microsoft.com. See, you are getting reply from one of the number. So if you want, we can use one more site called as DNS resolver. So DNS check. So it checked what is a DNS. Example I given as Microsoft.com. Click here, search. See, for each and every area, you can find some addresses, some IP addresses. San Francisco, United States, you have this address. For the Canada, you have this address. And for South Africa, you have this address is 13.107.246.56. And for Denmark, for Netherlands, okay, let us search India. India 13.107.246.48. Copy this and you enter here and say enter. Say https colon slash slash and you mention this address. Say advance connect to the site. It's not showing a page. Firas says, what is the tool you are using? MX tool, right? MX toolbox for DNS we can use this tool for DNS lookup. So if you click on this MX tool and you mention the name of the domain, Microsoft.com, say DNS lookup. See, Microsoft.com is associated with an IP address 13.107.246.240. We got here 246. So it is everything. Anyhow, so it's nothing but you are resolving a record with your name Microsoft.com. So Microsoft.com is getting resolved with an IP address. It's TTL. It's nothing but time taken for line connectivity, TTL connectivity. So it's a time limit which has been taken to establish your communication, right? So here what will happen if you go with DNS? The first thing is nothing but domain naming services. It's a phone book of internet. DNS ensures that the request reaches to the correct server by resolving the domain to its correspondent IP. So the correspondent IP, this is my correspondent IP for my network. So it will resolve to this IP. How it will get resolved, we will see that. So what is a mechanism, what is a topology, or what is a job will be performed in a backend whenever you enter any of the site. So first, whenever you enter your site, user input, you have entered a site called as www.seco10x.com in your web browser. So first of all, once upon after you enter this site, and first it will check your local cache. So it will check whether in your local machine, in your laptop, whether this site information is available or not. So if it not available, if it is does not find your address directly, it will query to your external server. What is your external server? Your external server is your DNS resolver query. So that is nothing but your local service provider. So as everyone are using different service provider, as I am using an Act and you are using as Geo, and you are someone is using as a Airtel. So to their service providers, they will send the request to their service provider servers saying that to resolve the query. But after service provider, what the service provider do? Service provider will check in his cache, in his local server cache, if he find that site addresses, whether maybe I have not used the site from a long time, or after I have not used a site, I am using a site for the first time, but someone else from the same service provider is already used it. So he will store that site information in his local cache. So whose local cache? That's ISP service provider. So if he found that information, that same site information, then directly it will communicate to me saying that this is an IP address, and that will be start communicating. So if he won't find any of the IP address, then it will send to the root server. So what is a root server? Root server is a top level domain server. So top level domain server will be identify your query. He don't know who is seco10x.com. He don't know who is seco10x. So he only knows a .com. So root domain server will identify your a extension called as .com. Based upon your extension, it will send to your TLD server. It's nothing but your authorized DNS server to get your authentication with your Seco10x app. So then authorized server means TLD server will again send a request to your authorized DNS server, and that authorized DNS server will populate your DNS record here. Seco10x. com. So he will identify the who is seco10x.com, and he will find your IP address, and that IP address will finally responded to your resolver server. Who is a resolver? Your DNS query resolver. This is a server where it will send the seventh step, will send the IP to your DNS resolver. So now DNS resolver will resolve your IP address from an internet, and it will supply to your user. So these everything will be done on a background when you enter a www.seco10x.com. Okay. So this background will perform within a minutes or within a seconds. So based upon your connectivity type. So here this is a normal topology or normal workflow of a DNS, how it process. But here, instead of here a resolver server, we are using an AWS resolver server, which is called as our Route 53. So here we have a DNS resolver server. Whenever a user send a request called as www.example.com, it goes to my resolver server. Then resolver server will ask my Route 53 whether he has a record for my Route 53 or not. Then if he has a record, he will send the record to my resolver server, and resolver server will send an communication to end user. So this is a topology which will be used in your Route 53 concept. But in a previous topology, the user send a request, it will send to your local cache. Then if local cache does not find any input, any information about your site which you are searching, it will send you a resolver query. If your resolver query also does not find any information of your IP, then it will send to your root server, then root server to TLS server, then TLS server to authoritative DNS server, then authoritative DNS server will publish your collect your IP address, and finally it will respond to your resolver resolver page, and then resolver server will store that IP address in the local cache, and then it will submit to a user. So this everything used to done in your uh, previous day scenario, and right now also we are using the same concept. But only the thing which we are in a AWS is, here we have only a resolver server. The rest part, the all the other parts like DNS root server, TLS server, authoritative DNS, so these everything is will be taken care by my services called as route 53 service. Why we are calling as route 53? Why? Because DNS port number, the default port number is 53 for the DNS. So that's the reason. So AWS has named this service as a AWS route 53. Why? Because this service is mainly working on DNS hosting services. So AWS router service, so AWS Route 53 service provides an high availability and scalable DNS hosting service. So one of the major advantage of this DNS Route 53 hosting service is it will always be enabled. Means whenever if there is no downtime. So if any user wants to, if any user want to access a particular site, then it will be get access whether the server is down or whatever it may be. But there is a no downtime. It provide a developer with a efficient and external reliability way to connect user to their internet application without any downtime. That is what the major advantage. It says zero downtime. It still have a downtime in the server or application, but user or customer may not be aware of it. So if you have a downtime also, the user or customer will not able to you will not aware of a site downness. So that's why it say at 99.9% a high availability of your websites. So it effectively connects user requests to AWS, such as so Amazon EC2, Elastic Load Balancer, or Amazon S3 bucket. So what is this? These are the services from where you can host the website. So websites can be hosted from your S3 storage, and your load by your site will be get balanced on your Elastic Load Balancing. that we will see how we are going to balance in our next coming classes. And next is nothing but EC2 instance. So you can also host your site on your EC2 instance as well. So EC2 instance, like we can deploy our a normal site on EC2 instance. So AWS Route 53 performs three functions. It performs three functions majorly. It registers the name of for your website, which needed in the name. Like if you want to buy a domain name, you can then domain name through a Route 53. You can also buy a new domain name. If you don't have a new domain name, you can also buy your new domain name through your Route 53, and it helps users to connect the website or web applications with a browser in server where when he or she enter the website name. So whenever you enter the website name, you can able to connect your website. That is the second function which has been provided by your S3, sorry, Route 53. And it keep on checking the health of resources. It keep on checking the health of your resources before the customer notice it is it is by sending an automated request over the internet to the resource. So if any resource has been down, then automatically they will check the services and he will check the health of your particular site. And then automatically the communication, the what you can say, it keep on checking your health resources. It checks your what is the EC2 instance are. It checks your S3 bucket is available or if there is any issue. So health checks will be done performed by automatically by the Route 53 itself. You need not to do any changes or you need not to perform any health checks for your site. So if there is any site slowness or if your site is getting down, then it will be notify you. So saying that your site is getting down and something like that. So based upon that, you can troubleshoot it. Okay. Okay. Magnify the screen. Okay. Okay. Is it clear now? Why? Route 53 is a simply saying as a simply, if I want to tell what is Route 53 in AWS, so Route 53 is a DNS service which is been provided by your AWS in the name of Route 53. So it's a DNS hosting services. So for example, let us take, I have built my website on an AWS and I want to host a website on my AWS itself. So that I can use a Route 53 to host my website, to get my website information and create a records. So before that, before going in depth into that, so there are different types of uh, what you can say policies, which is called as AWS Route 53 policies, routing policies. There are different types of routing policies of AWS Route 53. First policy comes as a simple routing. What do you mean by simple routing? This policy to direct all the traffic to the domain to a single resource such as a web server. So whenever I type www.hostname.domain.com, it directly connects to an internet and it will check who is a domain provider. Like if I purchase my domain from any of the public domain services, like there are so many public domain services, host GoDaddy as well as host GNR and CloudFront and other services with those who are the domains, sorry, DNS providers. So I can, if I provide, if I Namecheap is also one of the domain provider. So if I provided, if I collect the if I purchase my domain name from the namecheap.com, it will redirect to my Namecheap provider. From there, it will route to the Amazon Route 53 host zone, then our Amazon EC2 instance. Why it is routing to Amazon EC2 instance? Why? Because I have kept my content or kept my routing info, kept my website information on this EC2 instance. So this is only a path from where the all the traffic will be routed to my web server. There is a no filtering, nothing is there. Directly my traffic will be routed to my web server. So this routing policy randomly select the routing path and does not take the resource status into the account. Means it will not consider whether my uh, status of my resource which they are accessing is in active stage, or means is there any issue with my resource. It won't consider the health status of a particular resource, but directly it will route the traffic to the EC2 instance. That's it. Means simply he will simply says that if I ask hi Ravi, how are you, then directly he will come to Ravi and say hi Ravi, how are you. He will not analyze that whether Ravi is available or Ravi is active or Ravi is in what is the status of a Ravi. He won't identify the status. Directly he will come and says that hi Ravi, how are you. So it's nothing but a simple routing. So it's a simple command, simple routing. So only it will be routing to a particular path. He will notify the path, and then it will reach to your destination. And next is your failover routing. So what is a failover routing? So name itself, it says that failover. So there are two servers. One is called as primary server and another is a secondary server. So these both servers are connected in a two different subnets or two different areas. You can see here, one is connected in US East and another is connected in US West. One is North California. So both have a different VPC and different public subnets, both the sites, and both are connected through a VPC pairing, which we have done in a last week. Sorry, yesterday, day before yesterday, we have done the VPC pairing, and then and then if my Route 53 has a record saying as this is a primary and that is a secondary, whenever a request comes, request will send to my primary server. And in case if the server went down, and if the server is don't have any if the server is went down due to any of the maintenance or anything, then automatically the traffic will be routed to my secondary server. Now the secondary server will be automatically shifted as a primary, and this will be shifted as a secondary. So by automatically AWS itself it will do it. So it will that is called as failover routing. The policy routes the traffic to secondary resource if the primary resource is available, and this is an active passive. So what is active? So primary is an active, secondary is a passive failover, which is primarily used for disaster recovery. Okay, so for the disaster recovery it uses. And the and third one is your weightage routing. This is one of the major important policy which most of the developers will be using it. Why? Because this policy will be defined based upon your percentage of traffic need to be shifted. So for example, like if I say that I have built a website, and I have tested my website, it was working fine when I am using by myself. So I want to replace the site from one of a production site already running in the internet. I want to replace that site. So what I will do is, so I will slowly I will create a new site, and I will divert some traffic to my new site, and I will keep my old site also active. So I will be using two sites, site 1 and site 2, and some traffic will be diverted to new site, and some traffic means diverted to a old site. It means that I am balancing based upon my traffic usage. So I want to make sure that my website should not goes down. So that's the reason, slowly I will increase here. Let us see, let us take this 30% traffic is a new website and 70% traffic is an old website. So everyone is accessing 70 old website, and I have built a new website with the same name. Few users, those who are trying to access, they will find the new website, they will connect to the new website, and they will access the new website page. And slowly what happened, these 70% of traffic will be shifted here and 30% of traffic will be shifted here. So like that, slowly I will shift my traffic. I will transfer my 100% traffic to my new website, and I will keep the 0% traffic on my old website. It's nothing but I have deployed my website in a that we will be in our language, in our real time environment, we used to call as cutover. Cutover is nothing but you are, once you are migrating your site from old to new, you will be using a cutover technology terminology, where you will be cut over your load, and you will slowly you will distribute your load to your new website, so that you will also analyze that whether my new website is able to take that much of load or not. So that is that is not that is a major thing which we used to do in our real time scenario. So it's a weightage routing. We used to go for the weightage routing, where we need to specify the weightage on which region. Like, I will be deploying my website in two regions, and I need to specify on which region how much weightage should be there. That can be modified after some time, like depends upon your uh, depends upon the usage, or depends upon the customer requests. You can modify that usages. So that is called as your weightage routing. Okay. Next is your latency based routing. So here, this is also one of the major important routing policy, that is called as latency based routing. So here, latency based routing means, if a east user, so I have a user who is sitting in US east region and want to access a site. I have a site in both the networks, like US west region and US east region, which is a shortest time for him. So 70 microseconds is the shortest time, so the latency will be less. So okay, he will be able to access this site from your west region also, but the latency is very much important here. So he will analyze, this policy will be analyzing, so which is a best path, or best path with a less latency. So with a less latency, this policy will be used when you have resource in multiple regions, and you want to route the traffic to resource that provides the best latency. So what is the best latency? 70 microseconds is the best latency. Then user will be routed to this region. So your user will not be routed to this region. Why? Because it has a high latency. This policy route the traffic to the resource in the AWS region closest to the end user based on the latency. So based on the latency, which is the closest, he will route this traffic to the particular user, means particular region. Sorry. So next is geolocation routing policy. So what is meant by geolocation? It's a geographical location. Like, we have two users. One user is sitting in US and one user is sitting in Sri Lanka. Both are accessing the same site, as the site is hosted on both the regions. One is in Washington US, and another is Sri Lanka region. So the user, those who are sitting in a Sri Lanka, will be access the Sri Lanka site, means the Sri Lanka region server, and the users, those who are accessing sitting on your US side, they will access the US side website. So both the sites are same, but this is nothing but, so geolocation routing policies. Geolocation, geographical location routing policies is used to route the traffic based upon the geographical location from where the DNS query is originated. So here, from the Sri Lanka, my DNS query has been originated, and I will be collecting the data from the Sri Lanka, domain itself. And if the DNS query is originated from US, then it will be collecting the information from my US location. So like this, geolocation routing policy will be used based upon your location wise. Then next is multi-value routing policy. So this is one of the one more top important policy, that is nothing but this is will be routed based upon your multiple IP addresses or multiple A record sets. So what is a policy? This policy is randomly select the traffic to multiple health resources, and we can specify multiple IP addresses for a single A record set. With multiple value routing policy, you are needed to create a multiple A record set for each IP addresses that you define. So what is A records? A records is nothing but a record in your DNS. So DNS have multiple record type, which we'll be seeing now in next slide. So records is nothing but each and every record will be connected, will have associated with one of the IP address. In this multi-value routing policy, you can create multiple records with a different IP address, so that I think yesterday, yeah, we will take one more for this multi record. I will show you one. Outlook.com. See, when I type an outlook.com, you can see that type is called as A means this is what your DNS record type, and you can see multiple IP addresses has been associated. So 52.96.223.2 and 91.4. So you have multiple IP address, but the domain name is same, and you have only single record. This is what we call as multi-value routing policy. In the multi-value routing policy, you have multiple A records with multiple IP address is associated with a single domain name, that is called as outlook.com. So here, so multiple records with a single record name called as A record. So like that, if you can see here, just previous a DNS checker. So when I click on DNS checker, here you can see the record type. So every DNS works based upon the type of record. So here, once you click on this one, you can see triple A, sorry, double A, C name, MX, NS, PTR, SRV, SOA, TXT, CAA, DS, DNS key. So these are a default DNS record types. Okay. So based upon these DNS record types, it will communicate. So a record is a starting record or a default record, which is directly associated or directly connected with your domain name. So that's the reason why when I click on outlook.com, I got multiple. So in the same of like gmail.com. Okay, if I say gmail.com, here for a Gmail also you have multiple names. For example, meet.google.com. This is called as your Google Meet. Google Meet also have different IP addresses and different records. Okay. And can anyone suggest any other name? We will check that. Yes, Nasir, the PPT notes is also uploaded. you can see in your content folder, there you can find an AWS and AWS folder. From there you can download your you can go and check your PPTs also. Can anyone suggest any other name? AWS.com. AWS.com also so many names. Azure.com. Azure also have many names. Any name like I purchased one site. Which one is that site? Yeah. What is my name? Domain. Okay. I did not find this site. Geo.com. They have multiple addresses. Airtel.com. Airtel.com, you have only one record. DNS record is published and DNS record found. You can see reported by. So this is a provider. If you can click here, if you can say IP address, or if you can click here, it will give you some more information. That is called as PTR. Point PTR record. Okay. So point record, it's again established connected with your domain name. And here this record is published by this one. This is a publisher, your DNS publisher. So today I have purchased one DNS record. You also need to purchase it. So if you are testing it, if you want to test this Route 53, you need to purchase one DNS record. So that will not cost you very high. You need to check it. There are so many sites. Hostinjure.com. This is a domain DNS publisher. So this is he is a DNS service provider from where I have purchased this site. So this site I have purchased as cloudadda.fun. So this is my site name. So when I go for DNS name, so I have changed my DNS name. So I have changed my name server to Amazon Route 53. So you can check this one. I can show you this also. So you can copy this. This is my site. Okay. This is my site. When I copy this site and I will go to and paste my site in my DNS finder. Okay. DNS lookup. See, my record is not yet published. I have not created any records. You can see here your DNS hosting provider is Amazon Route 53. So this is an Amazon Route 53. why he is showing this one? Because here in Amazon, right, Route 53, Amazon Route 53, I went here and I have created a host zone called as cloudadda.fun. Okay. When I click on this, by default, two records has been created. That is called as NS record and SOA record. Okay. So here I have taken this value. You can see this value. These are my name servers. So I have taken this value. Okay. And I have updated my website information here. In a domain name servers, I have updated this value. So by clicking on change name server, I have changed the name servers here. So and as the same name servers which has been found in my Route 53, I have used the same name servers here in my hosting. So that's the reason whenever I try to access this site, it is redirecting me to my Route 53. Okay. Here. Okay. So I will share you this link of uh, host engine. You can search any domain name from here. For example, let me go for home and let me go for domain, and if you want you can purchase this site, go for domain and get a new domain. You can type anything here. Cloud, what the site name you want, what is the website you want to purchase. Just like if I say cloudhub.com, okay, search for it. It search if this is available or not. Cloudhub.com is already taken, so you have cloudhub.guru. Okay, and you can purchase this site by clicking on buy now. So how much charge you are going to pay for the 1 year? So it's the charge is 269 rupees per year. So the fees and everything, it costs you around 338 rupees only for your 1 year subscription. So for the entire 1 year, you are going to pay only 338, and you can use this cloudhub.guru.com, cloudhub.guru as your site. So like that, you can search your sites like cloudhub.software. The charge is very high. It's 1,409 for first year, and cloudhub.blog, it's 179. Like that, there are very cheaper sites also available. The site which I have purchased, it's only of 89 rupees. It costed me around 126 rupees only. You need to search it based upon, for your testing purpose we can use any site, right? So cheaper site will be plays the same role. I don't want to publish it on the internet, and I don't want that to be published from other people need to access. Just for my testing purpose I am using it, so I use only a site which is around 129, means 89 rupees site. So that also you can see cloud, IR, you can use Seco. Okay. See, Seco.shop, you have only 89 rupees, and Seco.store, you have only 89 rupees. Buy this. So you are going to pay only 89 and 36 as a charges, fees, and total 125. So in 125, you are done with a 1 year subscription. Means in a 1 year, you can use this site. Okay. So like this, you can purchase it and you can do the lab. Okay. So this is a best service provider, DNS service provider, which provides you cheaper sites. But there are some other service providers also, like GoDaddy.com is there, uh, and some other sites also there, like DNS Resolver, DNS Name, like that. You have a multiple DNS service providers. There's CloudFront, and other service providers also there, but that they have some charges extra. So, but this will Hostinger will provide you it a at very low cost. So this will be best for your labs. So I will share the link, so just you can go through that, and you can create the site. Okay. Okay, let's come to our topic. Like, this is nothing but multi-value routing policy, and there are different types of policies. Multi-value routing policy, and we have geolocation routing policy, and latency-based routing policy, and weightage routing policy, failover routing policy, as well as simple routing policy. Like, these have a AWS Route 53 have multiple routing policies, and we have a default DNS records. As I said just now, a record address mapped to a domain name to your IP address directly. It will be mapping it to your domain name to your IP addresses, and AA record is unique for your IPv6. So we have two types of protocols, IPv4 and IPv6. And for your IPv4, we have this address, and for IPv6, we have another record that is called as AAA record. So CNAME record is a canonical name and alias name that points to another domain name. So what is a CNAME record? CNAME record means uh, it's a duplicate name for your main domain. See, for example, if I have a domain name called as gmail.com, okay, so I don't want this gmail.com need to be published on internet. So gmail.com I am using as in an internal. So I will be using as mail.gmail.com, means a different name, a unique name or alias name, means surname, you can call it as, in our language we can call it as surname, or any other name which identifies, which again redirect to your main name. Main name is what? Your A record. So on a record you can create a C name record. A name records point to the root of the domain to the other host or a domain name. So it will be pointed to your other host or your domain name. And SOA record, stat of authority. So stores the information about the domain. So that is what, see, we have, I have shown you the record. Yes, yeah. Two records is created whenever you create a zone. The two records is created. One is called as NS, name server record, and another is SOA record. So what is SOA record? SOA is nothing but stat of authority records, stores the information about your domain. So it is storing my information about my domain. So this is my domain information which is stored here. AWS DNS hostmaster.aws, sorry, amazon.com. So this is my main domain information which has been stored over here. Yeah, charges is fluctuating because based upon your .com. So you can see why the charges is fluctuating, because you can see here .life you have only limited charge. .tech you have some different charge. So this .tech is nothing but a top level domain. So it is a top level domain server. Based upon this, the charges will be applicable. AI means your, nowadays we are using an AI everywhere. So your demand is increased. If you have AI, then the charge is 6,979 per year, only for 2 years of term. So .shop, .store don't have any value, like for the testing purpose. So that's the reason the charges are very low. .net .io. IO again you have more charges. You can see here. Uh, Let me take cloudhub.com. So I am using a .com. Hub.org. I have less charge, 99 rupees. When I try to buy this, it will show me 3,244. Why? The 99 rupees charge only for the third year. The first year, second year, you are going to pay it 12.99, and the third year you will get 99 rupees. You are taking the subscription for 3 years. Like this, there are some charges. Okay. Based upon dot extension. So the charges every time, the charges are based upon your extension. So extension does, if your extension doesn't matter, then for the testing purpose, so extension doesn't matter for me. So that's the reason I have taken a very low charge. Okay. That's also correct, Wahid. But majorly it define your extension. Okay. Next is your NS record. What is NS record? NS record specifies the name server are responsible for a domain. So who is domain? Who is connected with your domain? He will provide your name server. Okay. And MX record. This is majorly used for your exchange. So if I say mail.gmail.com, mail.gmail. Okay. Let me type one more. Mail.google.com is there, right? I will check this. Click here. Mm, Come down. You will see. Just email server. Next. Mail.google.com. It's redirecting to your Google only. So if you anyone have any company mail address, for user time job. Here in this. I'm not getting this. So any mail server address will get your MX record. You search MX record checker. Hmm. I'm not getting any DNS query with this. Okay. Here you will get MX records. If you want to establish MX record, okay, I will show you in your Azure session when we connect an Azure, right? So at that time, I will show you this option how you can establish your mail server. Why? Because we will be creating our O365 account also. So once we create an O365 account, I will show you how to configure your MX record. Okay. So this is a basic records which I am showing you right now. Okay. So NS record is for your name server record. MX record is for your mail exchange server record. Yes, Firasat.
Check with agility.com. It is showing.
Agility.com. Huh? It's showing as host name, right? See, your email service provider is Microsoft Office. Means you are associated with your O365. You have an O365 account. SMTP test. That is nothing but you will testing your SMTP. Test your email server. This is my email server IP address. SMTP, Simple Mail Transport Protocol. So here we have tested our SMTP. Okay. Next is our TXT record, SRV record, it's a service record, PTR record, it's a pointer record, which is mapped to your, as I said, there are two types of zone, forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. So reverse lookup zone will be mapped with a pointer record, and forward lookup zone will be have an A record. Reverse lookup zone will have PTR record, pointer record. So SRV record, it's a service record, and text record, if you have any text information, so stores the text information about the domain, such as the email, verification code, and if you are going for VoIP, voice over IP protocol, like you used to use a VoIP device to communicate within your network or from outside of your network. So at that time you have an SRV records. So instant messages, like you are using an what you can say, Teams on everywhere. So Teams will work on SRV record. So if you want an Teams to be work, then your SRV record will be published. So you should have an SRV record, then only a team start working. For your email, you require an MX record. For your resolution, for your communication of your website, for your resolution of your name server, you require a name server record. For your site accessing, you record a name a record. And to store your information, you require SOA record. So like this, you have different types of DNS records. So based upon those DNS records, it will work and it will start communicating. Okay. So next we have two types of zones. Once you are creating an Route 53 zone, we have a two types of zone. One is called as public hosted zone and another is private hosted zone. So here for a public hosted zone, we require a public website which will be get communicated within the public. As I shown you that I have used a site called as cloudadda.fun.com. So this is a site which I've used and I have created this record in a public zone, not in a private zone. So you can see here record, record type. Okay. So record type is not mentioned here. Let us go back and see. Yeah, host zone details description. Yes, the type is public hosted zone. So I have hosted this in a public. So why? Because I have a website. So that's the reason I have hosted this in a public. So which is called as public host zone. Like that, you have a different host zones also. So private private host zones are used internally or will be communicated internally for the private host zones. Okay. So just let us jump into a lab sessions now. Okay, before doing a lab sessions, we will create our setup. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I'm ready with my setup. Let me check one best example or best scenario for you. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. Okay. So here we can use a simple example. Here I cannot show you right now a public hosting. Why? Because uh, I have just now changed my routing from Route 50, means from my host side to Route 53. It will take me for 24 hours to get my records updated in this zone. So once this records got updated, then only I can show you the records by creating a records in this zone. Okay. So right now I will show you about a private zone. Okay. So before going for that, we will do this setup. Private setup, which we can do this. We can use this as a setup. So we will be creating one VPC and public subnet and private subnet, one in a public primary EC2 and second in a secondary EC2, and we'll have only single VPC and multiple subnets, and that we can host through a private host zones. Okay. So go for VPC. This is a simple example which I want to explain you. Okay, so that you can understand what is the concept of this one. So here we have already a VPC associated here. Yesterday we have not created. Let me delete this VPC. I will create a new VPC. So I have cleared my VPC. Now I will starting from start. So create a VPC. Here I am creating demo hyphen R53 hyphen VPC 01. File identification I have mentioned as R53. I am mentioning a block of 11.0.0.0 by 16. Okay. I have created a VPC. Next, I need to create an internet gateway. So this internet gateway is already available. I will just name it for R53. Okay. I will not creating it. Just I am attaching this internet gateway. Attach internet gateway. My internet gateway is attached. Next is my subnets. I need to create a subnet. I want to create two subnets under single VPC. Click R53 hyphen 1 and availability zone is 1A. Here I will be taking as CID block 11.0.1.0 by 24. Okay. I will be using another subnet for the same VPC called as public hyphen R53 hyphen 1 and preferable location 1A 11.0.2.0 by 24. So create subnets. My two subnets has been created. Now I will go for the routing table. Delete this. This is my old one. So I will be deleting this. Does not exist. Means it is already deleted. Yeah, it's already deleted. Yeah. So go for create new route. Okay. RT hyphen public hyphen R53. Okay. And I am selecting this as my VPC. Create a route. And this is a public. So I need to associate my public subnet saying as edit subnet and say as public save association. Public subnet is associated here. Now I will be creating another route table. RT hyphen private hyphen R53. Create a route table. I need to associate a private subnet here. It's a private route table. Edit. Yes, right.
Sir, by mistake you have created under VPC two subnet as public only, sir. So that is the
Yeah,
reason.
same name. I have given the same name, so I need to
Public.
modify the name.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a minute. I will do that. That's what I was seeing. Under the subnets. Dot zero. So this I need to modify to private, right? How clear, right? We are in a clear picture. Now it's clear. We have one VPC. Let me filter it here. We have two routes, two subnets, public and private. Sorry. We have two route tables. We have internet gateway. Okay, now in a route table, in a public, we need to edit some routes. Going for route, edit route. I need to add my internet gateway. Save the changes. Now my network portion is done. Now I need to go to the EC2 and I need to create a two EC2 instances. Say launch EC2. Public hyphen EC2 EC2. I am using a Windows now. For edit settings, I am using a default VPC. Sorry, I am using a customized VPC, and here you are using a public subnet. And here for public, I am enabling my IP. Changing my security group name by SG. Okay. Here I need to allow my one more rule, ICMP packets. My DNS also I need to allow from anywhere. See here, the port range has taken as 53. So I need to resolve my DNS query. So that's the reason I am allowing my DNS ports here. Okay. Say launch. Yeah, for instances. Private hyphen AC. Good. I'm using as Microsoft here. Edit. So we need to select here private route 53. Then I am making this as a disable. Okay. So here we need to keep as SG. SG. Here I need to allow some ports also. So what are the ports I need to allow? Here ICMP packets I am allowing for anywhere, and we need to allow another ports called as DNS ports anywhere. Okay. Just let's wait for another 2 minutes so that my servers get initialized are ready. One question to all: do we require any routing protocol need to be configured for the communication in this VPC? Yes or no? My question is, do we need to configure any routing protocol, any route table in this environment to establish a communication between EC2, sorry, public to private? No, we does not require any routing protocol. Why? Because we have used a single VPC but multiple subnets. Okay. The single VPC CADR value is by 16, and within that 16 only we are using two different subnets. So let's see my public IP and say connect. Download my public EC2. Sorry. Open the file and you decrypt the password. Now check your private EC2 instance power. Private IP 11.0.2.91. Ping 11.0.2.91. It's not pinging. It should ping here, right? See. RDP is getting connected, but it's not getting ping. Why? Is there any security rule which we have missed? RDP is getting connected means there is an connection is getting established. PO4 or PV4. Let us see another thing. Let's look up. Yeah, NS lookup is working fine. That is only we require. Okay, let's try it. Now, for Route 53, For host zones, here my public zone is created. I am creating a new zone that is called as private. So I'm giving any domain namespace here, any zone name. My demo.com. Give any name here. Say demo.com. Private host zones. And here you need to select your VPC region is your my PCID and US North Virginia. You have a public host and you have a private host. I'm selecting as a private host now, for which we need to select the region. US East 1, and I need to provide the VPC ID. Okay. Then say create a host. My zone has created now. The private zone has created the demo.com. Go to that, and here you need to create a record by mentioning my address, saying as my host name private hyphen EC2. Here you can see the types of records we can specify here. I am selecting a record now, and here I am using the IP address. My private EC2 IP address as a value. Okay. Value. I am using this. Alias is nothing but another endpoint or another name. I don't want that. I am using this as a value here. Okay. Routing policy. You have different types of routing policy. Simple routing, weightage, geolocation, latency, failover, and multi-value. And you have one more like geo approximate. I think I have not discussed this. We will discuss this also later. Okay, we will be selecting as simple volume, simple routing, and say create a record. So my record is created. Here you can see private ec2 dot demo.com. This is my record. Okay. When I select this one, okay, copy this, come to my DNS here and you paste it. Let's type. Stuck or what? It's got stuck. We will connect it again. Decrypting the password. It's taking a lot of time, right? It should not take this much of time. What we need to resolve? We need to resolve this address. So once if I enter this record name, then I should get this value. Open another command. Let's close this. Okay, ns lookup, and you need to enter this command. We couldn't find private ec2.demo.com. There is some security group related issue. Let me check that. Let me check 11.02.91. Should be right. 11.0. Let us see this one once. Shooting. Okay. One thing I missed, I think, in a VPC, where PC settings. So I need to enable DNS name resolution, enable DNS host name. Also, I need to enable these two options. DNS name resolution, DNS host name resolution. So it's not create one more record. Let us say public iPhone. Let's see C2. Give this value simple routing and say create record. Let us see this one also. Whether it is getting resolved or not. Yes, it is getting resolved. Why? Because this is in same network or same subnet. Do we need to do anything on the VPC side here? NAT gateway, no. Routing table is also not required, I think so. Here it's getting resolved within the same subnet, but it's not getting resolved with a different subnet. So seems there is some issue with somewhere we made a mistake. It's not getting resolved with other subnets. And here it's not able to communicate, or it's not able to ping with other subnet also. There is some issue with the security groups. Traffic is allowed. Yes. See, now it's getting authorized. So there is some issue with our security group. So now it's getting authorized. So I entered. I think now it should get also ping. ping 11.0.2.91. It's not getting ping, but it's getting authorized. Okay, for the DNS resolution, it has taken some time, or some security group issue might be there. NS lookup private -EC2 demo. It's resolving my IP address, my local IP address. That's 11.0.2.91. This is an IP address of an EC2 instance. This EC2 instance, public EC2 instance, 11.0.2.91. This is an IP address. So I am in the public server, and I am resolving an IP address. Is nothing but it's private.ec2.demo.com. So where we have created this, we have created the record entry over here. So we have created a zone, and our NS means under a Route 53, we have created our private zone. Under the private zone, I have created one record. Let me see. I will use the same value here. I will create one dummy record. Say create record. I will say my cloud test. Let us say this one, and I will keep some IP address, some called as 11.0.2.95. Okay, and I will use a simple routing. Say create a record. So I have created a record, my cloud test.demo. So when I try to resolve this, it should resolve to my this IP address. Okay. So whether this IP address is there or not, that it doesn't matter. Okay. Let's look up. See, it got resolved 11.0.2.95. So 11.0.2.95 is not there, but still it's getting resolved. Okay. So I have created a record in this zone, and I try to resolve, it's getting resolved. If I create any other record also, it will get resolved. R53 hyphen test hyphen demo. I am entering the value of 11.100.1.24. Sorry. Before. So creating record. Any A record, you create any A record here, it should get resolved with the values what you have mentioned. NS lookup is a command. 11.2.24. It's coming to this server, and you are getting resolved. So it's nothing but your Route 53 is now a resolver. So it's your DNS resolver. Whenever you are entering any IP address or any NS lookup command from any of the EC2 instance, first it comes to your Route 53. It checks the records. If it identifies the demo.com, it will next test it will try to search your A record. So after getting this A record, it will give you the address. So this is how the DNS will works. Yeah. No, it's not required to create a security group rule, Mohammed. So just we have created a rule over here, and we have successfully tested it. Okay. So I can say, I request all of you, like, you can test the same in your environment also, and let me know if you have any issue. Tomorrow we will be discussing about the CloudFront, one of the another major important topic of our networking. So tomorrow, inshallah, we will cover the CloudFront, and we will discuss how the CloudFront works. Okay. 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 So there was some issue due to the security ports. So that's the reason it was taken some time to resolve. So we have fixed that, and after that the resolution started working. So this was a demo for your R53 Route 53. Okay. So you do the labs in your sessions. So we will meet tomorrow again, inshallah. Okay. Okay. Bye.